and welcome to my side of the Laundry Room Live. My name is Rob.
And I'm Chris.
And tonight we want to talk about D23. It was the big news this weekend. We got a lot of very cool news articles, a little light on some of the trailers we'd want to see, but some of the news of what people got to see behind the scenes sounds amazing. And the first of that is the Avengers Infinity War Part 1.
And really, I think Disney was really smart this year. D23 almost a week before San Diego. And they definitely, I mean, the word is, and nobody knows, we won't know until next weekend, obviously. But the word is they're really going to concentrate on Black Panther and Thor at the San Diego Comic-Con. Right. So by a whole week, they've made D23 far more relevant.
Oh, yes.
Than in previous years by dropping the Infinity.
It's very smart. Your company has its own convention. Why give the exclusives to anyone else?
Well, not only that, it's really, your company has two great conventions.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
One is every 2 years, and it's global, so it's a little bit different.
It is a little different. You're right. And for the longest time, nobody really kind of, I mean, unless you were the hardcore Disney fan, you weren't really paying attention to the D23.
No, I have to be honest, this is something I've only recently stumbled upon.
Well, absolutely. 10 years or so. But, I mean, prior to it, it was more or less of a release calendar for their upcoming events throughout the following year until the next expo. So, you know, although people like you and I cared that Atlantis was coming out, most people didn't. You know what I mean? That was kind of always what
we knew that Mike Mignola was attached to it.
And Mike Mignola is the creator of Hellboy. For everybody who wants to slam that guy Mike Mignola on Twitter, who's not really thrilled about the new Hellboy films, he kind of created it. Yeah. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We haven't seen the video. Nobody's really seen the video. No. It's a well-guarded secret right now, but
there's a few giving us a blow-by-blow account of what we see in the trailer, or what they saw in the trailer.
And it sounds, we've watched a couple of things, and we've read as much as we could get our hands on. You know, some really cool conceptual stuff. Thor smacking his limp body, apparently slapping against the Milano, the Guardians of the Galaxy plane.
That it apparently butts right up to Ragnarok.
Leads right into. And we're not sure how much of a tie-in is going to be for Black Panther either. So that'll be interesting because that, of course, comes out in spring of next year.
Yes.
A month to 2 months before Infinity War. So you know there's going to have to be some kind of tie-in. It's just not the way Marvel works. You know, for there not to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's kind of, that's crazy. But the other big news out of D23 was we got to see the conceptual look of the Thanos' minions, the Black Order.
Yes.
And they look great. And
they do.
They really do. I'm a big Infinity fan, which was the comic that came out about 5 years ago. It was the last really big storyline with Thanos in it that, of course, went through all of the Marvel Universe. And the Black Order was from a moon that Thanos basically presided over, and they had all were born on the moon, Amity Mall, Obsidian,
Black
Dwarf. But in the comic, these were natives to the Black Moon. It sounds like, at least the way it's being presented at D23, that these are going to be Thanos' kids. Adopted kids, just like Gamora and Nebula are.
Which I have to say, I mean, it's not... It's a little bit in the comics, but not as much as in the cinema with the adopted children thing. But damn, that makes him sound like Darkseid with the whole Mr. Miracle adoption. Okay, sorry.
Well, it's not that. They're copies of each other. You know, it was
in the comic, but they never went that whole hog into.
No, but it was disgruntled artists and what have you that got fired and went over and said, "I'm going to make the exact same character. I'm going to call him Darkseid, or I mean Thanos, or whatever." I can't remember which one came first, but it was, you know.
I know. I'm just saying, it seems a little bit more cinema forced than comics.
Agreed.
But I'll tell you from a personal level. There's one YouTube video that we saw of someone breaking it down as best they could. And god damn it, I got excited just listening to that guy talk. I got more excited listening to that than I did seeing the new JLA trailer.
Well,
I'm just saying where my heart's at. That's all.
Well, yeah, and you know, look, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I want DC to do well. I do. I mean that. I'm not trying to.
I want them to do well in a different direction.
Well, that's the thing. You know, DC just smacks of we're playing catch up.
Yeah.
No matter what they do, because they decided to go the exact same route Marvel did. Okay, they just sped it up.
But it's not even that. It's not even the background.
Okay.
The heartstrings. It's a different feel.
It is.
And really, in this day and age, do you want to see that? No, you want the more lighthearted.
Yeah, but there's always been a different feel between the two publishers. Besides
at
that,
times,
you know, it's
you gotta think. I mean, that was during the late '80s. That was a very big retaliation against Marvel because they were on the upswing. So it's like, let's present something that's completely 100% different. Creation of Vertigo happened. You know, tried and true characters got a more of a darker tint to it. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about.
You're right, you're right. But always remember that DC kicked the crap out of Marvel in the early part of the 80s with Crisis and things like that.
Yes.
And that was all, you know, Marvel, of course, did their retaliation. Like, it's always ebbed and flowed. It has. And unfortunately, the movies are kind of almost imitating that history.
They are.
You know what I mean? We're coming off of the cuff of Wonder Woman making more money than Deadpool right now as we speak.
Which is cool.
Which is awesome. I think that's fantastic. I really do. I think that's a great thing for DC. But it validates their that they do have characters. They can
have what it takes, you know. That's
right. They can make money without Batman being in a film. That's the biggest thing. It's been the question.
Maybe that's the difference. How many Batman have we seen? How many Superman movies have we seen? More than any of the other ones. So maybe they just need to do something fresh.
But for the longest time in DC, the thought process was these are our two marketable characters.
Yes, I understand.
And we don't feel that there's anything else in this that we can, you know, make any money off of, which has always been DC's thing. I mean, for the love of God, if DC didn't feel that way, we never would have gotten the Watchmen film.
Right. Which I think is an excellent.
Oh, it is a fantastic film.
Will poop all over it.
That's because they never read the comic. But that's neither here nor there. D23 was great because this felt like more of all of Disney D23 than what's been in the past, where we're going to show you everything that Pixar and Disney's going to do. This ended up being more of, we're going to show you Pixar, we're going to show you Disney, we're going to show you Lucasfilm, we're going to show you, because of course we got all the behind the scenes stuff from The Last Jedi.
From The Last Jedi. Right off the bat though, I'll have to say I didn't get emotional over this one like I did for The Force Awakens behind the scenes. I actually wept during that, but that might have been just because it'd been so long since we had good Star Wars. Maybe I'm a little bit more desensitized. I loved it. I loved the stuff, the creatures that we saw.
Oh, that's your wheelhouse, absolutely.
Yeah, you got me. You got me, dude.
Well, yet again, I think with the Force Awakens, we were so excited to get good, or what appeared to be on the surface, good Star Wars films again. That was where the excitement, I think, came from more than anything else. So it's kind of like I always say, the first Jurassic Park movie, wow, oh my God, that's great. First Lord of the Rings film, oh my God, I can't believe, you know, this is new, this is the new perspective, this is a new idea, this is a new design, whatever you want to call it, okay? Right. And then the second time around, you know, you can call it the Godfather 2 theory, all right? Or the second time around, we've played in that world. You know, we know what this world's gonna our version, this new version of it. You know, so you're not gonna have the same feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna have the same feeling. Totally you didn't have the same feeling when you saw Two Towers. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, your first video, remember the first trailer for Fellowship? They're all coming up from the spire. You know, there was a different bit of a, you know.
No, and if we're gonna talk about Lord of the Rings, Two Tower.
I love the film. That's not what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but the fucking middle is boring. You're just waiting for Helm's Deep. But you don't know you're waiting for it. That's the thing. When it hit you that first time, you're like, I don't give a fuck. I mean, we're gone, you know, Aragorn's lost. He's dreaming about
all kinds of crap.
Liv Tyler. And it's like, this is boring. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, they found him. The movie just like a fucking rocket ship.
Well, yeah, and then it's you know a 45-minute greatest battle. But anyway, yes, exactly. But this year we got more of a unified Disney front.
Yes.
we seem like Disney's really got their act together, what they're going to do with D23 moving forward.
Yes.
Which I think is good, because there's not going to be so much focus at San Diego anymore. You know, and here's the thing about San Diego, and this is kind of our topic tonight, is the convention season. This is the beginning of this,
Yes.
the kind of the big kickoff of the convention season. Yeah. There's a really interesting article going on right now that's being kicked around. Mile High Comics is one of the oldest comic companies, stores, retailers in the country. They've been going to San Diego since San Diego was
created,
infancy. Okay. And basically, they're pulling out. They're not going back. And in a nutshell, and the ownership of Mile High wrote a very nice letter. They really did, expressing their feelings and their, you know, thank you for everything that San Diego. But we can't. This is a comic convention.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And this is where dealers went. Some of these dealers, man, this is their Black Weekend. This is their Black Friday. This is their whatever. They're going to make enough money to basically, you know, get them through any kind of... See, the summertime is always the rough period for comics because there's so much other things going on.
Reading's the last thing on your mind when the weather's nice.
So, a lot of dealers in previous years, and this has been years, this is before San Diego became the cultural mecca that it's become, they would go and they would cover their bills for 6 months based off of what, you know, what they did at San Diego. So, I think it's really telling that somebody like Mile High, who's advertised in comics since we were kids.
Oh, yeah. They had the beaver mascot, correct?
Yes, indeed. And they've always had a 2-page spread in the 80s. You could
go, back when it would look like it was
yellow.
Yeah, but it looked like a fucking typewriter.
Yes, indeed.
And you'd sit there and go, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this.
And
that was before you even knew about comic book stores for the most part.
And I was just actually looking through a book from 1982 the other day, and in it had Fantastic Four 48 for $50.
Jesus Christ.
So, you know, look how far we've come. You know what I mean?
Sorry for the mic issues. I'm just getting a little limp here, so I'm trying to get it erect.
But, you know, that's a shame. And it's kind of telling of where things are. If you can't make money on the floor, on the dealer's floor anymore, you know, then what's the point of going to San Diego?
I mean, the competition's stiff, and for someone like that, honestly,
it never used to be that.
Right. He was the big dog, and now it's a different market. But I mean, it also goes to Nintendo a few years ago pulled out from going to all the electronic game conventions because they said our market knows us.
Why do we need to be here?
And we'll do a Nintendo Live stream, and we'll tell them what we have coming, show them the, you know, they'll come to us. Why, you know.
And mark my words, I can see Disney doing something very similar to that.
Yes.
Because even this year, it's the line in the sand, if that makes any sense. We're going to give you the crap we've already dropped. We're going to send that to San Diego. We've already seen a Black Panther trailer. We've already seen a Thor Ragnarok.
But do you think there's somebody in the back with a fucking briefcase with a hard drive that if DC drops something so fucking tremendous, they're like, oh, wait a second, we forgot we brought this with us.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because they've been consistently, we'd see a DC trailer, wow, that's pretty cool, and all of a sudden we get new Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 trailer, and it's like, fuck that DC trailer.
But Jits, you say that, and I think Marvel knows that too.
Yes.
Or Disney, Marvel, whatever, they're the same. Okay,
yes,
you know,
they're all competition. But do you think they have a big gun waiting?
I think if they feel that it's worthy, but really, honestly and truthfully, what is DC? What could they?
Because we have seen that in the past, where all of a sudden we're like, ooh, somebody pirated out a trailer from somewhere.
Suicide Squad 2 years ago.
But then they release it officially, like, okay, fuck it, here it is.
But yeah, but it was
after.
That's
how they play it, you know.
But it was after somebody pirated the video from the convention.
But I think that's almost like a card that they can play. They know there's going to be people pirating it. They can either shut it down or, well, this one guy got out, and I guess we got to make it official. That's their soft way of being an asshole. It's not like, hey, DC, fuck you, and slapping it down. It's like, well, we had to, our hands were tied.
But they kind of let things fly with the Inhumans. we had all those little cut up pieces that were trickled out.
Right.
And it was a good 2 or 3 weeks later before we finally saw, here's the Inhumans trailer.
Well, it's because, and if you notice the difference between some of the leaked ones to the final one, Lockjaw looked fucking horrible in the first.
Sure, because it's
but
probably somebody with a ready cam trying to.
Well, no,
you know,
it doesn't even look like the principal CG was completed on it. So to wait, it was worth it because it's like, okay, he's cool. Because at first I was like, oh no, I'm worried. But then when you see that, the new, shiny, good Inhumans trailer, you're like, he looks awesome.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying to you, I don't know how much longer and I'm not trying to say that Mile High leaving is the echo of this. I understand where I'm coming from.
No, I know.
I think it's a perfect set of storms that are coming together for San Diego. And what I mean by that is, if you have somebody like Mile High pulling out, if you have somebody like Disney now whipping their big guns at their own expo,
right?
And I'm not disputing that Disney may be sitting on something next week that if DC wants to pull out whatever, you know, maybe there's a Batman panel, which is the only thing I can even think of. You know, the guy they got casted to do Slade or Deathstroke Terminator.
Yeah.
Okay. And Ben Affleck, and they've got a secret trailer, which I doubt. Or they've got...
I don't even think they've started anything
No,
yet.
but I'm saying...
Because the news just came out that the director was pitching Affleck's script.
Yeah, and it's going to go through the tank, or, you know, it's going to go through some washing is what it sounds like. But I'm just saying, if there's some sort of thing that DC's sitting on, whatever it may be, yes, I can see...
Maybe they'll reveal the new Flash director. Look, it's Lord Miller. No shit.
Maybe, whatever.
But yeah.
You know, something, though, is what I'm getting at. If there is something that DC's actually got up its sleeve, which I don't know what it would be. I'm not trying to...
Now, okay. Let's say in the future it fractures.
Okay.
You got D23. Do you think Time Warner would have their own convention?
No, because the interest isn't there.
Exactly. To some people,
No,
that would mean they'd cover all Hanna-Barbera, all their subsidiaries under Cartoon Network.
I would say at a minimum DC's 2 to 3 years away from that. Because really the only thing they've got right now that's a successful thing for them is Batman and Wonder Woman and the Harry Potters. But yet again, let's look at DC's properties.
DC's saying Marvel
or Time Warner
has shown us Thanos and his peeps. Is it time for us to release what Darkseid's going to look like? Could that be the big enough news?
It could be.
I mean,
but
we'll be intrigued.
But I think DC learned a lesson. And hear me out for a second.
Okay.
We saw all kinds of things building up to Superman versus Batman. Okay?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden at San Diego that one year, here's Doomsday. He looks like shit, but here's Doomsday. Okay? You dropped... You see what I mean? Like, yes. Marvel sat on Thanos, right? We all kind of hoped, we thought, we didn't know where it was going to go. Whatever, I'm not being funny here. But at the end of Avengers, right? First Avengers, you know, he goes up the stairwell and there's Thanos.
Right,
and everybody, oh, you know, it was awesome, right?
Yes.
If you're DC, why would you make your mistake the second time? That's all I'm getting at. If Darkseid's in Justice League, which we're all assuming that he is, okay,
maybe it won't be lightning, not in a good way, striking twice, if they've learned. If they've learned and it doesn't, they get away from, we'll just say, the extreme versions of shit. Like that was the extreme Doomsday.
Okay.
If they go back to, hey, let's give it a Kirby look. And they say, this is what it's going to look like. People would be so fucking elated.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
So it all depends on where their path is leading.
To me, Darkseid should look like he's cut from gray stone.
Yes.
And that's it. That's the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, big red glowing eyes, and that is this is the simplest character
and you don't
to
even
do right.
But they'll give him some funky fucking armor and shit instead of just giving him like a little tabard thing that he wore.
Yeah, like the tunic with them hot pants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm
fucking saying it. But anyway, back to D3 because
I just don't see Time Warner ever having enough steam as it's currently constructed to do their own expo like Disney's doing. if this is what Disney's going to do moving forward, I can see this thing getting more steam, more power, more vendors, more. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because even this year, okay, we got Incredible 2 pictures.
Yes, let's talk about that for a second.
Absolutely.
Apparently, that takes place 5 minutes after the end of the first movie.
Yes, that's the way it should
And
be.
apparently, some of the inside trailers people got to see, that you see Bob go apeshit crazy because Jack's going through powers. Boom, 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 boom. Right there. I stopped reading after that because I didn't need to read anymore.
That's all we wanted.
That's all we wanted.
And, you know, here's the thing. For all those people out there that are frustrated with the Fantastic Four franchises, which we're one of them, you know, we've
I can't even say I'm frustrated because
we've pontificated on our disappointment
yes,
through
we have already
previous
talked about
iterations. So every time I feel like I need some Fantastic Four, I go home, I look for my copy of The Incredibles and throw that on, and I'm like, oh, man, just what I needed. You know? Because that's what Fantastic Four should be.
Yes.
Okay? So now, I'm bummed that it took Pixar this long to make a sequel.
Yes.
But I'm happy there's a sequel. And that was just one thing we got to see. The other big story coming out is, of course, there was some additional footage of the new Disney film coming out this Christmas. Coco.
Which looks good.
Which looks very good. I like the concept
it's
of the
Pixar.
Muerta.
I'm going to cry.
Yeah, well,
I know it.
Yes. And also, is that Pixar or is that Disney? I thought that was Disney.
Coco? That's Pixar.
You sure about that? Because that means we got 2 releases from Pixar this year? That's unheard of.
What's the next one?
We got Cars 3 like 2 months ago.
Oh, true.
Which is not typical Pixar. I thought usually it's Pixar Disney. And a couple live actions in there, stuff they've already made.
I'll look into it.
Oh, fair enough.
Keep talking.
So anyway, while he's researching that, the other big news we got is there's another concept coming around that the quote we've seen the most is Flintstones, but with D&D. D&D being Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, hell yeah.
So the concept is there's only like a 5-minute short or something like that. And it's like a fantasy storybook land, no humans, but there's centaurs, there's satyrs, there's fairies, and it's a storybook land, but they're going through day to day. Like, you know, there's a centaur talking on a cell phone, and that's what was described.
I hate to say this, because I'm very excited. That sounds like a very cool concept, but didn't we kind of get that with Monsters, Inc.?
Well, that was kind of my thought process too. But this could be cool. I hope it's different in the fact that it's not the Monsters concept where a real human gets sucked into this world. You know what I mean? And they have to react to him.
Yeah.
The other big news we got was the Wreck-It Ralph, which apparently the arcade goes Wi-Fi.
So that's Pixar.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. So, let's...
And the biggest thing about that, about Wreck-It Ralph 2, they banded together 12 Disney princesses that are all going to appear in it.
That's cool.
That is fucking awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome. I agree.
All the original voice actresses.
And you know what else would be cool if they do this? Honestly, since they've got control over that.
Yeah.
Shoot them into Marvel vs. Capcom. Right?
That
you
would
know what
be
I mean?
cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Or just them walking through the surge protector.
Right.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Or throw into some old Star Wars Rogue Squadron or something.
Like
you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
like the vector art.
Right.
Yeah,
that would be kind of cool. Now that you've got all these different things in house.
Yeah, that's what I wish for. I mean, I've written about that before. But anyway.
But I think this is really awesome that we're talking about. I mean, in years past, this is the weekend you go to on your way to San Diego.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because Disney wasn't. The expo was never really a destination spot. It hasn't been in the past.
It always seemed like it was for those inside people. Like, ooh, how do you get to go to that?
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, the D23 club. That whole
concept.
World, the whole hidden Mickey type of Illuminati thing going on.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But now it seems accessible. Like, ooh, would I rather go to that or San Diego?
And with as much web traffic as they're getting, I think it's going to be more accessible.
Yes.
And honestly, I got to throw this in for my wife because she would absolutely kill me if I didn't mention this. The big thing, of course, was Emily Blunt. This is probably The
Yes.
biggest thing that nobody's going to talk
Yeah.
about, but we need to talk about it. My wife is a dearly love, absolutely, it's her favorite
Yes.
movie in the world, which
Same
is Mary
with my
Poppins.
wife. Same
Okay,
with mine.
and every time we go to Disney, I spend half of the trip looking for something Mary Poppins for my wife. Every time. We've been 3 times. We're going again in 2019, and we'll spend the same amount of time looking for something Mary Poppins. But anyway, Emily Blunt's going to play Mary Poppins: The New Adventures, or whatever the term
Yes.
is, and there's some really cool stuff popping up on social media.
Yeah, I had to share them, or whatever the fuck you call it.
I just think that's
Yeah,
awesome.
That made me excited. Isn't that-
Me too, actually. I'm excited for my wife, who doesn't ever, when she sees that, and you
Yeah.
know, she's going to be, I hope she's excited to go see it, because that is something that's really,
Yeah,
that would be, I think it's good casting too, to be perfectly honest with
I
you.
agree.
But I think this is awesome.
But
I really do.
Going back to what you were saying, to it being more of a cohesive Disney
Mm-hmm.
universe, they actually put up their timeline, and it was populated by everything. I've never seen them do that before. It's always been, this is the Marvel timeline, here's
This is
the
the Disney,
timeline, here's the Star Wars timeline.
Well, and here's the thing, yet again, I'd be curious to see what Disney does, because you have the Star Wars celebration now, right? Coming
2 years.
every 2 years, and you're going to have, who's to say that they don't do a Marvel celebration? Because I wouldn't be surprised. Disney knows what they're doing. There's no doubt about that.
I think the day that they get one of their properties back, either it be Fantastic Four, or it will never happen, but the X-Men.
Never say never.
Fox
Just
is,
saying.
Yeah, but Fox is really running with it. They're like, Deadpool is a success. Full speed ahead. We're getting 4 mutant-inspired TV shows.
Mhm.
We have Legion, that apparently was good. I apologize, I hadn't seen it. I want to.
I haven't either.
You have the Runaways. You have New Mutants, and you had that Bryan Singer one, The Gift or whatever.
No, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Which could be cool because
we'll
it
see.
does have some established characters in it, but the main protagonist, the child, is a new character apparently. So
Okay.
that could be cool. You're taking a new thing, putting it
Sure,
in an established
sure.
world.
I'm all for it.
I'm cool with that because you can't fuck it up because it's your creation. So yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But anyway, my point is when they have, or Phase 2 comes out, or 3, and they're saying they're really going to mix shit up, that's when we would probably see a convention.
Here's what to me, the handwriting's on the wall with San Diego for a multitude of reasons.
Yes.
I just don't see how it's going to perpetuate itself. It's reached its zenith.
Why don't they just call it an entertainment expo?
I
and
think
leave
it's beyond
comic
that.
book
And once
fucking
once
off
you've
of it.
reached your zenith, the only way, the only spot you can go is down.
Right.
Right. So this
Yeah,
may
when
be
when you're having round, big fucking reveals and stuff for, I'm sure there's more recent example, but the Twilight movies. That doesn't have anything to do with comic books whatsoever.
well. Okay, let's go 15 short years ago. Okay.
Okay.
Or no, actually, I'll go 20 short years ago.
Okay.
That was the place to go see Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Alex Ross,
yeah.
Wallace Portacio, all of the great, quote unquote, greats of their time, and I will use that term, their time. They had their time.
Yeah.
Okay? Jim Lee, all these guys, they were all under one roof.
Right.
Okay? And it wasn't like going to 15 different shows just to get all 15 different autographs. This was going to one spot. They were all there.
Yes.
Then, of course, Bryan Singer's X-Men hits. Makes money.
Yes.
Then we start getting more and more attention to pop culture.
Yes.
More and more projects are coming out of Comic-Con. More and more deals are being made at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
More and more, you know what I mean? So that it became a place to go and do business, and as a result of that, it became something much more.
Yes.
Yet again, if it's running its course, I would be stunned if studios don't learn from Disney.
Yeah.
And I think the first person who does it who's not Disney, because Disney's got all these great merchandises and all these great, concepts and all these great ideas, and, the first company that does it and doesn't have the success level that Disney does it, I don't know what the rest of the industry is going to do, because nobody has an original thought. You see what I'm saying? They're very incestuous.
Yeah.
They all feed off of each other and how they perform and how they do.
Exactly.
But it'll be curious to see.
Yeah, I agree.
The last big thing I think we need to talk about with D23 is, of course, we saw the first photos of Star Wars Land.
Fucking A right, man. They didn't only give us photos, they gave us a 3D map.
Mm-hmm.
Then they gave us, later in that day, an aerial flyover of said map, where you could see that they even had little cutout people. And then they had a computer rendering where you saw BB-8 rolling around, and it looks like you're just walking around, and droids are going to be zipping by, and, you know, astromechs, and there's going to be people in costume. I mean, it looks fucking magical.
I mean, I'm planning our next vacation just for that. Honestly, I don't know any other way to say it other than that. You know what I mean? I am. Of course, you're excited, and there's a lot of other rumors going around about the
prices of the rooms,
and there's even a rumor I read earlier where there may be an additional cost just to go to Star Wars Land. No. I don't see that happening, people. No. So relax, okay?
Yes, Disney is about making money,
but they're also about accessibility
to everybody.
Correct.
Just look at the resort structure now. Yes, you have the rich, expensive ones, which Star Wars will probably have those rooms. But then you have the budget rooms.
Well, that's the thing. I think the idea of, and Disney's learned from this, okay? And you can see this with the newer generation of places in Disney World. We can't speak about California. We've never been there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it seems to have its own set of mystique rules.
Yes.
You know, it's like
it's different rides and different things.
I don't even follow.
No,
when I see Disneyland.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
not
we're not going
universe.
there. Right, we're not going there. So you and I pay more attention to Florida. It's much more logistically appeasing for where we both live geographically. But more importantly, in Florida, for years, there's been this tiered structure. Well, within the last 4 or 5 years, they've done different hotels where it's multiple tiered structures in one hotel.
Exactly.
And I'm going to give them a plug. Art of Animation is the place we're kind of hinting at, which is a great story if you ever found out how that all came together. It's one of the other neat little backstories. But anyway, I can see the Star Wars
oh, yeah, definitely.
Hotel,
you're going to have your
motel,
suite
whatever.
structure. You're going to have your upper class structure all the way down.
And here's the thing. Yet again, why even rumor and we don't even know. So until the place opens up, right?
Yeah.
Until
it's people. I don't know why.
I'm saying let's rail against it once we know if it's worthy of railing against. That's all I'm saying.
As of right now, we got something to look forward to, something to be excited about. Leave it at that. Feel excitement. Feel like a fucking kid again.
And here's my thing: if they do have rooms that are $600 a night, which is one of the stories I've read online or whatever, okay. And if you're telling me, now I'm going to paint this picture. I'm going to paint everybody.
Paint it, brother.
Okay?
Paint it.
If you're telling me that for $600 for one night, I could stay in a Hoth-themed room.
2-night minimum. The rumor even pointed.
Okay, 2 nights. So it's $300 a night, right? No. Or no, $600 for with a 2-night minimum.
It's $650 a night, so it's $1,300.
$1,300 for 2 nights. Okay. All right, fair enough. So I can stay in a Hoth-themed room for $1,300.
Or Death Star.
Or a Death Star. Or an Endor. Okay? Seriously. There's no joke here. A Tatooine, whatever.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I may not be able to go every year or every other year.
But you're going to do it before you die.
But if I know hey, look, 5 years from now, guys, honey, this is what I want to do. 5 years from now.
You all are going to stay at Art of Animation. I'm staying over here at Star Wars.
But I'm saying, though, okay, we're going to go for 5 days, but the first 2 days we're going to stay in this room.
Yeah.
And then the other 4, we're going to make up the difference.
And we're just going to spend those 2 days in Star Wars Land exploring the fuck out of it. Yep.
Wouldn't you do it?
Fuck yeah,
If you knew, hey, I'm doing this 5 years from now, I'm going to save up the money because I know what the cost structure is going to be.
Yeah, but we're talking about, we have a whole new generation of people that saving, what the fuck's that? I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying, that's what you do then, right? So I'm just, at the end of the day, if you tell me this is my option, okay, that my bedroom, my master bedroom looks like the cockpit from the Millennium Falcon, and every time I pull the sheets down, I hear Chewie's roar, I'm in.
And I'm sleeping on a tauntaun,
Whatever,
fur
right,
blanket,
exactly,
what the fuck ever.
right,
Yeah.
right. We've all prayed for this. We've all wanted it for 30 years.
Yeah,
We've all
stop shitting on it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and if Disney wants to charge for it, well, then you know what? The best thing you can do is don't pay for it.
Exactly.
Okay? Because guess
But,
what?
okay.
If nobody stays there, Disney will drop the price.
Right. And since, okay, we've been doing a lot of what ifs.
Well, sure. That's all we have right now.
Are we ever going to see a Marvel resort?
That structure,
Excuse me.
you'll see a Marvel resort in California before you'll see it in Florida, because of the squirrely deal that they've got with Universal. So that's what's stopping from Disney going full on Marvel in Florida.
But I can tell you from firsthand experience, pretty much right after the Marvel buyout from Disney, they stopped fucking taking care of those rides.
Nope, no dispute.
The thing is, yeah, they're mechanically sound
Sound,
they
of course.
have to be.
Right.
But when we're waiting for the fucking Hawk coaster, and there's trash stuffed in, lights busted out, graffiti and shit, that was sad. But then you go over to Harry Potter, and it's like the sidewalk you could lick. It was so clean.
Well, that's because
and it just opened too.
But that's the only thing. Harry Potter saved that park.
Yeah, because I was like, we didn't even stop at any of them, but they have like, here's the Atlantis Park, you know, and it's like a Neptune dude, like, that's cool, kept walking, you know. But they sunk, you know, there's Island of Adventure or whatever.
Oh, sure.
We didn't even bother.
And now there's a new place that just opened this year as well, like Volcano Alley or something like that.
The one thing also that's going to save them, and it's like, god damn it, Nintendo Land, they're opening up. That looks fucking cool in the art. But that would have been something, man, you imagine if Disney and Nintendo teamed up. It was something that was a rumor for a very long time.
Well, I'll go even one step further.
What we get out of it is Nintendo now has the rights of Pokemon, the show. I don't know where that'll lead. Could we see Pokemon at the parks eventually?
I think it would be a no-brainer. I think that would be a no-brainer. The interesting thing is with the handshake with Spider-Man and Sony and Marvel and Disney ultimately, what will shake out of that? To me, if I'm Disney, and we've talked about this.
Yeah.
If I'm Disney, the only thing I don't have direct control over right now is home entertainment devices. So if I'm looking at somebody, if I'm looking around the world right now, Sony used to be the pinnacle of TVs. Oh, yeah. Laptops, cameras, whatever. Everybody, you know, Sony was the way to go. Sony.
Yeah.
It's not that way anymore, unfortunately.
Because they were the innovators at one time. Sony Walkman, Sony Discman.
All that stuff. We all had it. We all owned it.
Yeah. They were the king when it came to the hardware, but when things started going to the software side of things...
They played catch-up.
Yeah.
They played catch-up. So now one of the most lucrative things at Sony is, of course, the PlayStation wing.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if Disney doesn't make Sony a real good offer. You wouldn't buy a laptop with a Disney theme on it?
Fuck yeah.
But that's what I'm...
But the thing is, Disney's in bed with Apple.
It is, but how... Disney's broken contracts before if they think it's worthy.
True.
So if Sony's in enough trouble, which they are, realistically, I wouldn't be surprised at all if, you know... Yeah. I wouldn't. I just think it's their logistical next step.
That would be cool.
It's another studio. It's another home, way into your home, you know. Oh, here's a Sony 55-inch...
Tell me you wouldn't pay...
Lion King themed TV.
Pay Netflix money for a Disney streaming service.
Absolutely.
Make
the library available. Absolutely.
All of it, I mean.
Absolutely.
I want to watch old Mickey Mouse clubs. I want to see fucking Cubby and all them motherfuckers.
And here's my thing. If you do this streaming service, do it smartly. And what I mean by that is, for every month that it's on, make Condor Man available for 30 days. And then
the thing is, they do have a streaming service now through Comcast and stuff, but it's like, hey, for $5 a month, you get 5 different movies. And they're all, I mean, yes, it's cool, but do you really want to pay $5 a month for the fucking Gnome Mobile?
No.
Or the Shaggy DA. I mean, unfortunately, that's
what
they're
I'm saying, if
rolling
you're
out.
going to do a Disney streaming service and you do it smartly. And what I mean by that is make percentages of your old catalog available for a short time, but let that rotation move.
And just imagine if you could stream, and this is a father, everything on the DX channel, the Junior channel.
Okay.
The shit we grew up on. Chip and Dale, Tailspin.
Keep talking.
All that even. I mean, Gummy Bears.
Yep.
But I guess what they would have to weigh is what they make on DVD sales of such things, what they get for licensing those movies to Netflix now. It used to be Stars.
Well, in reality, hard media is going to be a thing of the past. It's only a matter of time. It just is. It will be.
You know, I never would have agreed with you, but it's fucking true.
It is.
I go to the store and it's like, I need to buy Doctor Strange. Do I really? It's going to be on Netflix. I'm going to watch it. I'm at a point in my life where I'm not able to watch movies as much as I used to.
Agreed. And
so I'm not. But the thing is, if I see an 80s movie,
well, that's different.
Oh, the Manhattan Project, fuck yeah, you know.
But that's different though. But I'm saying, yet again, I think, you know, the streaming sales are where it's at because you're getting it sometimes 3 to 4 weeks before it comes out on the hard copy, right? So you've got it available. You know, I just got the notice on iTunes that I can pre-buy Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And on August 8th at 12:00 or August 7th at 12:01 midnight, which is technically August 8th, I can start watching that movie.
Have you on the PlayStation? It's the same way. It's
well,
like
but
you can all. I mean, but it's just like whoa. Yeah.
But it's not going to be available for purchase hard copy wise until you know the end of August. So I can spend $14 right now and be watching that film.
Right.
You know, in 3 weeks. It's on my TV.
Same thing with Spider-Man. I
mean,
absolutely. Everything now.
Sure. So, you know, I don't know if the trend continues to go that way, the Blu-ray DVD sales are going to be what they're going to be. They're just not going to be that market share. I don't think hard media will totally not for the foreseeable future. But your sales, you know, Walmart isn't going to order the kiosk full of that film anymore.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
But I will say, and I think I just said it in my post the other day when I put out our Disney thing on the post on my site, I said, they're the only movies I buy. And
right now,
true,
yes, absolutely.
Because when you have kids at a moment's notice, I want to watch Snow White. I want to watch Sleeping Beauty. I want to watch fucking Rescuers.
But not only that, you said it yourself. They're the only movies I buy. Okay?
Because they're heirloomish.
They are. They're collectors in and of themselves. But it's more important. Disney's got the subject matter we want.
Yes.
Okay? So when I say only movie I buy, yeah, I'm not buying Moana. I'm not. But I am buying... I'm not saying I shouldn't. That's not what it's a great movie. I've seen it. I'm saying if I buy a hard copy of a hard media, it's Star Wars.
Yes.
It's Marvel.
Yes.
Do you understand what I mean by that? So Disney is still getting my...
It's the whole house of mouse.
You got it. You got it. So that's where I say I still buy that hard copy. You know why? Because I'm a little bit of a weird nit because at any time, Wi-Fi can take a crap and I can't watch my iTunes or I can't watch my Amazon Prime, but I always got my Blu-ray.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's true, and I believe that as well. But I will say, when we purchase them from Walmart, we can get them on Vudu. I had the fucking tape sitting 5 feet away, but if I can just sit there with my remote and go, yup.
No disagreement.
And it even looks better because you don't have the whole
transfer
rate. It's right there. Right. So it does look a little bit different.
But yet again, iTunes makes it available to me 3 weeks.
Right.
So no, I'm not disputing that when I buy that copy, there's my Vudu, punch in this code, so this is how ridiculous it is with some films at our house. We have Amazon Prime and a smart TV downstairs, and we have an Apple TV upstairs. Because of my natural impatience, I will buy Guardians of the Galaxy 2 so I can watch it August 8th. I'll still buy the damn hard copy.
Oh, yeah.
Go downstairs and unlock my Vudu on my smart TV and put the code in. So I technically have 3 ways to watch the film. That's horrible. I freely admit it. It's horrible. You know what I mean? And I wish there was another way around it. And I'm sure there's somebody out there who could tell me. But help. But that's what you do. If you know what I mean. That's what Disney does with Marvel, with Star Wars, with their own merchandise. You know what I mean? With their own videos. That Time Warner can't come close to right now, unfortunately.
But
Sorry.
anyway, let us wrap up there. D23, great stuff coming out of it.
Well done.
Yes,
Well done.
yes. And it still goes on tomorrow. Which hopefully we'll drop this tomorrow. But, a thing of beauty.
No, you know what?
San
Start
Diego,
looking
I'm not even really excited.
No,
what
not
could
really.
they fucking bring
Yeah.
us?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway, let us hope we're surprised at San Diego.
But not only that, we now have a destination spot. We now have another spot to go to and just play in Disney World. Give us one more excuse. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I agree. I can't even say I ever fell out of love with Disney.
No, I never fell out of love.
Never.
Just wish they had, righted the ship a little sooner. But that's, it's the way it is. That's the way it is. You can't have somebody who was in control pass away and not expect some turmoil for a couple years after. You know what I mean? That's just goes, anyway.
But that's another discussion for another day if we do
absolutely.
a part 2 to growing up Disney. But anyway, thanks for watching this evening.
Yes.
I hope you're all excited for D23. Let us know in the comments how you feel about it. But for right now, you are watching My Side of the Laundry Room Live. My name's Rob.
And I'm Chris.
Keep being rad and stay dorky. Oh, hello. I didn't even see you there. Just catching up on some reading. I hope you enjoyed this episode of My Side of the Laundry Room Live. If you did enjoy it, if you like it, if you love it, if you need it, click the subscription button. It's that simple. Just click it and you will be updated via email whenever we post a new video. And if you like what you see here, please head over to mysideofthelaundryroom.wordpress.com. And guess what? You can subscribe there too. And you'll be hit up anytime via email whenever I do anything new, whenever I talk about the glorious 80s stuff that we love, comic books, video games, movies, toys, cartoons, you name it, it's there. So please subscribe here and there. Keep being rad and stay dorky.